Canadian fur trapper Joe LaBelle was traveling through the frozen landscape of northern Canada in November of 1930. The Angikuni Lake was home to an Inuit village that, due to his experience in the region of Nunavut, he had visited many times before. Coming back here again, he would have expected everything to be fine, with the village of a couple of dozen people bustling as per the norm. What he would go on to discover, however, would be something that no one has ever been able to explain ever since. Nunavut is the largest portion of northern Canada. It has harsh conditions, ranging from tundra to mountains. It is also only accessible by plane or boat. Due to these reasons, it is barely populated. The Angikuni Lake sits in the southern part of Nunavut, within a remote and vast wilderness, and was home to the Inuit, who were among the few groups populating the region. As expected of the wilderness of northern Canada, the day in November that Joe LaBelle was out looking for animals to hunt was extremely cold and isolated. On the odd occasion, you would expect to hear some noise, but generally it was a desolate silence. As he approached the Angikuni Lake, a sense of relief must have struck him at the thought of finally coming across people in this barren land. That relief, however, was soon destroyed, and he was instead met by more eerie silence. Something was amiss, and he knew it. Cautiously, he approached the settlement, and rather than being met by the atmosphere he was hoping to see, he found that the village had been completely deserted. Upon initial inspection, he noticed that the tents and huts were all empty, and there were no signs of any activity. It was almost as though the village was suddenly abandoned. He then decided to investigate further, and came across some unsettling discoveries that led to him being in even more shock. Food and personal belongings had been left behind in a way that indicated that the villagers left in a hurry. Pots were hung over fireplaces, and lots of rifles were left at the site. The sled dogs were starved to death, being tied to trees around the village. The Inuit were known to be very caring for their dogs, so this particular discovery was shocking. One disturbing discovery he made was that, in the village cemetery, several graves had been opened, with their contents missing. The way they were dug up was the alarming part, as he found that they were dug up from the inside, rather than what would normally be from the outside. This added a supernatural element to the mystery. Stunned and worried at what he had found, Joe immediately headed to the nearest telegraph office and contacted the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to report his findings. A search party was dispatched to investigate the village, but even they were unable to find traces of the missing Inuit. They did, however, confirm Joe's findings, along with making their own discoveries. There were no tracks in the snow and no sign of any struggle. They were also not able to find any indication as to where the villagers may have gone. An extensive search was done, including examining nearby communities, but no hint of the villagers was ever found. One popular theory suggests that the Inuit left their village suddenly to escape a danger, possibly a weather event, disease, or maybe a food shortage. While this theory is possible, it is highly unlikely, as no tracks were ever found in the snow, and all essentials were left behind. It could also have been possible that another group or tribe attacked the villagers, and in the act taken them away, or even disposing of them. This theory can also be debunked relatively easily, as it was confirmed there were no struggles at the site. Due to the fact that the grave seemed to be dug from the inside, a lot of people believed that this was a supernatural occurrence. Not only that, but the whole village vanished without even a trace. It could have been an alien abduction, or even mass spirit possession, but these are naturally a less likelihood, simply due to the lack of proof. There is also the possibility that this whole story is a big hoax. Maybe someone decided to make up the story, or at least certain parts of it, in order to make it sound more mysterious. One clear fact is that there are no official records or evidence from the RCMP that confirm the event, so some people believe this whole story to be folklore. With the RCMP officially declaring that they have no records of any Inuit people mass disappearing in the region, the validity of this story is in question. Despite this, it has lived on as a popular and curious tale, especially in Canadian folklore. This story could be a fact, a misunderstanding, or maybe even a legend, but it has still managed to remain a chilling reminder of what secrets could still be out there, unknown to anyone.